Hello and welcome back to English Not Ego. My name's Seed. Today we're going to be talking about people will be interested in your name. Names are fascinating, aren't they? Every culture's got a different name, kind of system. Sometimes people have one name or two names or a bunch of names. Sometimes people change their names partway through their lives. Sometimes they keep the same names forever. Names are really fascinating. There are loads of traditions around the world, but we'll just stick to Japan in this discussion. People love to see their names. This is a picture of graffiti. People write their names on subways or on trucks or in any number of places so they can see them again. Sometimes people legitimately do it too. For example, if you go to a shrine in Japan, you'll probably see people's names on things that they might have contributed money to at some point or another. A person's name to him or her is the sweetest and most important sound in any language. That's a quotation from Dale Carnegie. He's a kind of a famous person who talks about how to make friends and influence people. And that was a quote from him saying that people really, really like to hear the sound of their names, their own name being called by someone. Japanese names are unique, of course, to other cultures in the world. Japanese names use Chinese characters called kanji. These are two names that are very common, Tanaka or Suzuki. Those are family names. There are also a bunch of given names, aren't there? Given names recently kind of have a special kind of name. They call them kira-kira names, or kira-kira in English means shiny. For example, Luffy. Luffy's the name of a comic book character that's very popular now. Also, a couple of other names are Rando or Shi. Those are from places and times that are significant to the namers, like a certain amusement park where mom and dad might have been married, for example. There's even an NHK television show about names, about Japanese names that are unique to certain geographic locations or to certain groups of people depending on their particular position or jobs. Names are often confusing, and I think names in Japan are, whether you're Japanese or not Japanese, are often confusing and often confused. For example, is it Tanaka Taro or is it Taro Tanaka if you write your name in Roman letters? Well, fortunately, in September in 2019, the Japanese government made a decision that it would go from family name first in Roman letters, and then given name in Roman letters following. But what they didn't decide is a whole bunch of other things. For example, is it capital letters? For example, Kono Taro, he's a member of the current government's cabinet. Kono Taro writes his name in all capital letters on Twitter, his family name, and his given name, Taro, is one capital letter and 3 lowercase letters. That's his Twitter name. On a government website, you can see Taro comes first and Kono in large letters after that. But the government was supposed to have decided that, weren't they? Another Kono Taro name is capital K and a capital T, and then all the rest of them lowercase, and that's on Kono Taro's official website. So that's confusing, but is it actually really family name and given names order? For example, this is his Wikipedia website. Taro and Kono on his website. On the Wikipedia website, but also on the same website, it's Kono Taro from the same website. And what are those funny bars over the letters? What do those mean? And finally, I've seen this kind of spelling before too. If it's an elongated O, for example, in Kono, Taro, then there is sometimes a U at the end of, or after the O. But in this case, I couldn't find anywhere on the internet for this particular Kono Taro, so at least that's an advantage. Getting names right, even in your own language, can be a little confusing. Today's reading will be People Will Be Interested in Your Name. So, I'll read that right now, and you can find the text for this reading at the blogger's site, English Not Ego. Understanding who others are and telling them about who you are important tasks when learning your language. But the basics are not that hard. After I had lived in Japan for a short while, I was thinking about making cards with answers to the most frequently asked Japanese questions. Those weren't even fun to answer anymore because they were always the same questions and the same answers. The questions people asked me in Japanese included, "Where are you from?" or "How long have you lived in Japan?" and "How old are you?" There was a list of others that people asked depending on the asker and the setting we were in, but those were the main ones. Who are you and what do you think people from other cultures will ask you? One friend who studied in America said she was often asked a variety of questions similar to the kinds I was asked. For example, is Japanese difficult? Are there a lot of earthquakes? How many hours a day do Japanese people work? Since people often start by telling each other their names, let's start there. People who are not familiar with the sound of Japanese names will probably not understand yours the first time that you tell them. Though your name and Japanese names in general may be normal to you, they are not familiar to many other people. They may have to ask you to repeat yours several times. One way you can make it easier for them is to shorten your name. For example, if your name is Yukiko, ask them to please call you Yuki for short. Westerners are curious about kanji, or Chinese characters. They might want to know how you write your name in kanji. They'll be interested to see you write your name on a piece of paper. They'll also be interested in how you write their names. You'll have to explain how kanji work. They don't understand that one character has several different pronunciations. Just try your best and try to write a kanji even just for a shortened version of their name. For example, if their name is Amy, try Amy and explain that it means beautiful smile. If their name is too difficult to figure out, write it in katakana or hiragana for them. People you meet will likely ask about the order of your name. Which comes first, your family name or your given name? Family names will be a curiosity for them too. They may ask what yours means, if you got it from your father's side of the family, and if it's a common name in Japan. Names are fascinating. Yours is too. People will be curious about yours and what it means to you. That's our reading for this week. People will be interested in your name. I imagine people will be interested in your name, especially when you can tell them what it means and all the other various interesting bits that you might be able to tell them. For example, who chose your name? Why did they choose the ones you got? So those are some things you might want to talk about in English. Think about how to answer in English. Talk about them with your friends. Remember, last time we talked about groups. I hope you've got a group going, and I hope you can talk about your names in your groups. Well, that's this week's People Will Be Interested in Your Name presentation. Hope you enjoyed it. Now remember, when you practice with this information, first, you should probably try to listen. Remember I said before, listen, listen, listen. Listening is so important. 聞いて聞いて聞いて聞くことはとっても大事。何よりも聞くのが大事なんだ。Then the next thing you might want to try is following along. Understanding, for example, as I read along, understanding who others are and telling them, just follow along with your eyes as I read along. Then read it aloud with me. Try and read it as we go along. Try and read it with the same speed and intonation that I try. That I read with. If it's too difficult, you can slow these down a little bit. You can slow the videos down. There's a little switch underneath the video, and you can click on it and slow the video down if you want to, if it's too fast. Also, thanks for coming along today, and let me know what you think in the comments. And if you have questions, please put them down there in the comments, and I'd be happy to answer. 日本語でもいいから、読めます。で、適当にもう英語と日本語を使って、答えする。はい、答えします。Great. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.